What's up, guys? Welcome back to Weekly Weird News.
There is an absolute treasure trove of bizarre shit that happened this past week, and right off the bat, it looks like 2017 is wasting absolutely no time.
Waste no one's time, 2017?
It's wasting no one's time in crushing everyone's hopes that 2016's bad streak was ending just because of a slight numerical change. Now sure, last Friday's Finnair flight AY666 to Helsinki, aka Flight 666 to Hell on Friday the 13th, did manage to complete its journey despite taunting 2017 to strike it down from the skies. But that was just but a small victory. 2016 might have taken Harambe away from us in a hail of bullets, but it left the rest of Harambe's family for 2017 to finish off.
Did they really shoot like a bunch of bullets at Harambe, or was it just one like accurate bullet?
I don't know, I still haven't brought myself to watch the video.
Okay.
So just as we were all getting over mourning the loss of a gorilla who did nothing wrong, old wounds have been reopened with the news that Harambe's grandma, Josephine, has also been murdered at age 49.
Josephine. That's her slave name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harambe had a cool name.
She didn't want to pass on the slave name to her offspring, so
Yeah.
she named him Harambe.
So anyways, we don't know if murder is the right word to use here,
It's
but
not.
like her late grandson, Josephine was put to death by the zookeepers that were in charge of caring for her. Make zookeepers great again. Though it wasn't bullets that ended Josephine's life, she was euthanized at the Miami Zoo on Wednesday after years of increasing illness and pain, having already previously gone blind and had her lenses replaced by human lenses.
She was so close to becoming fully human.
At least she didn't have to witness the death of her grandson.
No, I think she had her eyes, but she was in another state.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wrong number.
I hope they told her. Maybe that's what killed her.
Yeah. She lost hope. It's like Debbie Reynolds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most girls.
Exact same thing.
It's the same thing. Most gorillas in the wild live to be between 35 and 40, so Josephine making it to 49, that's a pretty long life for a gorilla. She lived a full life.
Yeah.
Eating bananas, probably painting, and...
But no gorilla should have to bury their grandson.
That's true. Yeah.
Anyway, Harambe's family is actually full of tragedy, though. His dad, Moja, who fathered 14 kids with 4 women, he died suddenly in 2013 from heart disease. And Harambe's mother, Kayla, died in 2002 alongside Harambe's only full-blooded sibling, Makoko, when they were both accidentally poisoned to death by chlorine gas when a zoo employee left out some dry chlorine tablets that became wet. Tragic.
Yeah.
Still, a few of Harambe's siblings are still around, and his half-sisters Asha and Gladys, and his niece Mondika, they all lived with him at the Cincinnati Zoo, and they're still there, although they apparently required a lot of psychological counseling after Harambe's death.
Yeah. No, I was saying earlier, the Harambe family is just like the Kennedys.
Yeah.
Just like the Kennedys.
They're the
same
Kennedys
thing.
of animals.
Yeah. We are drawing way too many comparisons between humans in this.
No.
Okay, fine. In case you did not know, the Cincinnati Zoo did say that they collected and saved some of Harambe's sperm when he died, so that even in death he could someday become a father to a new generation of cursed silverback western lowland gorillas. Cursed ones. Anyways, the silverback western lowland gorilla, their global population is critically endangered, and numbers are only around 200,000, and that's all thanks to logging and poaching. Cool. So as much as one teenage gorilla being tragically gunned down sucks, what's been happening to wild gorillas in their natural habitat for the last several decades, it's a whole lot worse.
Yeah.
But it's all because of man.
Yeah, the common thread here is that,
Humans are dicks.
yeah, their DNA is only 2% different than ours, and yet we treat them like slaves.
Like second-class citizens.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, but speaking of things that are slowly, tragically dying out, you're not going to be able to list clown college as a career backup plan anymore because 98 years after its establishment, the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, the greatest show on earth, is finally going to be shutting down for good this May. And 98 years is actually kind of selling it short because the Ringling Brothers Circus dates back to 1884 and the Barnum and Bailey Circus dates back to 1881.
It's like T-Mobile and Sprint coming together.
Yeah.
For one big monopoly.
It was the first great merger.
You think they had a congressional meeting about the potential monopoly of circuses in America? I don't know. They can charge whatever they want once Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey combine.
I think back then government let small businesses do what they want.
Yeah, let the states
and we were
decide.
better for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, for most of its existence, the Ringling Brothers Circus has been the definitive circus But it turns out that after all this time, people just aren't really as into paying money to go watch clowns and trained animals perform. So, show's over, folks. And just to clarify, sorry, Ringling shut down Clown College 20 years ago because everyone ruined it with all the jokes.
It's true.
I didn't know that.
So, Ringling Brothers shutting down isn't really all that surprising. First off, while 100 years ago the circus was one of the only places to see exotic foreign animals up close, that's not really the case anymore thanks to zoos and TV documentaries and YouTube. Zoos being a place where you could go see lowland silverback gorillas. And
now for my next trick, I will shoot this innocent gorilla.
Yeah. Anyways, think of any animal and there's videos of it fucking and taking shits on YouTube somewhere. So the magic is gone. And on top of all that, people have understandably become more and more uncomfortable with animals like elephants and tigers, spending half their lives in a cramped cage strapped to a loud train car going from town to town, and the other half of their lives doing stupid tricks in front of audiences. Not to mention all of the allegations of animal cruelty over the years, including a lion who died of thirst during a Southwest tour and multiple USDA violations and fines.
Even with the circus's apparent interest in animal welfare in more recent years, including...
Oh wait, people are paying attention to this?
They got full-time veterinary staff. They've been investing in endangered species breeding to get more of them. And they also have retirement programs for their older animals.
They're doing better than we are.
They don't just kill them, they send them off to like old elephant school.
Yeah.
Or old elephant camp. Despite all of that, they have still continued to be a target for animal rights groups like PETA and the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, who believe that forcing animals to perform tricks in circuses is unethical, and those groups have been present at most Ringling Brothers events, welcoming guests to the circus with protests and picket lines scolding them for contributing to cruelty to animals.
Yeah, going to the circus these days is just like going to the abortion clinic.
Yeah. It's not far up.
Yeah. Anyways, one of the biggest concessions animal rights groups that Ringling made was in 2015 when they announced that they would stop using elephants. Though they were pretty upfront about the fact that they didn't do it for animal rights, they did it because local and state laws on whether or not elephants could be used in entertainment were becoming too complicated, and it was easier to just stop using elephants altogether. This definitely marked the beginning of the end for Ringling Brothers, though, as they'd now lost their most recognizable animal mascots.
Yeah.
They're huge. How can you miss them?
You can't miss them.
No.
There's, of course, other factors here, though, like the fact that, I don't know, Cirque du Soleil
Those
is...
fucking French.
Well, Canadian. French-Canadian.
Was still French.
Yeah. Yeah, Cirque du Soleil has turned the concept of the circus on its head with their...
Literally.
With their relatively classier,
Whoa.
more artistic version of it that doesn't use any animals and instead thrills audiences with death-defying stunts and story-driven performances and maybe a couple Beatles songs. And much like the average person's opinion of trained circus animals has changed over the last century, people's perception of clowns has changed even more.
Yeah.
It feels like ages ago, but the whole scary clown phenomenon from this past August through October really drove home how much the average American is irrationally terrified of clowns these days. So it's highly unlikely as many people as 50 years ago are still clamoring to go see a tent full of clowns do clown stuff.
Yeah, all the clowns in this circus, they're crying even if their makeup doesn't look like that.
Sad.
So, rest in peace, Ringling Brothers. It actually holds a big place in my heart because
Yeah,
I
Sarasota.
grew up in the Ringling Brothers town. I've been to the Ringling Museum many times. We have a bridge named after it. They had a giant hotel there for a while. It was their winter home. The train cars were there. I went to fucking school throughout my entire public education with members of the Wallenda family, people who went immediately after school and trained in trapeze and other circus stunts. It really, it was sad on Facebook when this happened.
Yeah.
People were pouring their hearts out. So
Yeah, it's like, some towns, the coal mine shuts down. Sarasota, the clown place shut down. It's the same thing.
yes. Well, anyways. Rest in peace, even though by most people's standards, they're probably not going to be sorely missed. This is undeniably bad news for all the clowns who not only have to deal with the stigma of being clowns, but they're going to be out of a job when the final Ringling shows happen this May. We are still awaiting word from President Donald Trump about what he's going to do about the upcoming surge in clown poverty, but if you're looking for some life hacks on being dirt poor in style, look no further than YouTuber 007 Crap, who last week posted a video showing off the luxurious makeshift bum house he'd illegally set up for himself in a 10-foot by 10-foot storage locker after he gave up his old apartment to hike the Pacific Crest Trail and then returned to Vancouver with no money left to pay for a new apartment.
Shit.
There's no pot of gold at the end of this rainbow.
My calves look great, though.
I would love to hike that trail, although I have things to do in real life.
Yeah.
It does look fun. Maybe
It's a
retirement
long
plan.
walk.
I've done 80 miles of the Appalachian Trail, and it was lovely.
Well, this is like 3 times as long.
I know, but well, the Appalachian Trail is very long too. I was also a child at the time. I was a teenager, so I had nothing else going on.
That's right. Anyway, again, this is totally illegal and in complete violation of any storage unit contract in existence. But hey, where there's a will, there's a way, especially when you're homeless. This guy was already storing all of his possessions in the unit while he was away, so moving in was relatively easy.
Not a lot of possessions, 10 by 10.
But right off the bat, the first obstacle to making something like this happen is the fact that most storage lockers don't have any lighting or electrical outlets inside of the unit, specifically to prevent something like this from happening.
It's been rampant before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, that's nothing an extension cord that's the same color as the hallway wall can't fix, and supposedly he paid a $5 fee to the management, who I guess didn't ask any questions about it.
Go on.
Yeah. Anyway, then there's the issue of poor phone reception inside of the big aluminum box, which he's fixed by sticking a small white antenna outside of the door. And then, to make things extra inconspicuous, he attached the door lock to the outside of the door using a magnet to make it look like the things were all locked up from the inside, but the lock's just sort of stuck on the door.
He's crafty. On the inside is where the magic happens, though. There's, of course, a bed, but there's also a kitchen complete with cabinets for food, a hot plate to heat up water, a toaster oven to heat up food, and a sink made using a 25-liter tank that feeds water into a makeshift bucket sink, and then that drains into another tank. He's got a big 4K TV and a computer for gaming and internet and movies. He'll need all of those because he's not bringing home any women to this thing.
No.
Of course, he has the internet to do all of those things as well. He's even got a bar stocked with all of his favorite booze. So that's cool, too.
Yeah.
Just drink yourself stupid so you don't
I'm
know you're
not
there.
poor when I'm drunk.
This is fine. All those people have those tiny houses on the HD TV.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're doing fine. They love it.
they do.
And when I want to leave, I just get up and go.
It's easy. If I need to use the kitchen, I just lift the bed over here, and then I move these things out of here, and then I pull the ceiling apart, and then I have to make sure the bathroom door is shut, and there you go. It's as easy as that.
And then when I want to have friends over, I have all the room I need out here at the campsite in the middle of nowhere. Anyways, the real marvel here with this guy specifically is the way that he makes it all fit. Thanks in part to some really basic woodworking to make stuff hang from the walls and ceilings and move out of the way if necessary, just like we talked about before with the tiny houses. And in his video, he very conspicuously leaves out just when and how and where he went to the bathroom. But in a Reddit post, he explained that the facility actually had bathrooms down the hall open 24/7. The management is looking the other way.
For at least a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically he had everything he needed, minus sunlight, of course, for just $200 a month.
Yeah.
Which is a steal in today's housing market, especially in Vancouver. And he managed to pull this off for 2 whole months before being able to find an actual apartment, which he showed off at the end of the video, joking that he plans to turn the living room into a rock climbing gym. At least we assume he's joking. Maybe he is. I don't know. Anyway, the video went pretty viral in the past week, so much so that U-Haul, the company whose storage locker he was squatting in, had to release a statement saying, quote, "Though the video insinuates he got away with doing this individual was caught and immediately evicted from the facility in November, 2 months before the video was posted.
It was a prank.
Local management didn't seek police involvement and was simply more interested in having the individual out and the illegal behavior ceased." So, I mean, it sounds like it was a good con, but still only really a short-term con. But if you're in a pinch,
Listen,
that's the way to do
just
it.
get a couple refrigerator boxes, tape them together. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's a fort. It's fun.
Or ask your local government for a one-way ticket to Honolulu. They'll gladly send you there.
Yeah.
And you'll be stuck there for the rest of your life.
But let's move on. We have to tell you about one of our favorite news articles from this past week, which really took us back to the simpler days of this show, when it was mainly about people from Florida living up to their state's terrible stereotypes. A story out of Charlotte County, Florida, just south of the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus winter home. This takes place at a wedding, where most people usually let loose and get a little crazy. But in this case, one woman, the maid of honor, got so wild she made the local news and is facing some serious criminal charges.
Yeah, so apparently things were fine at the actual wedding ceremony, which was described as absolutely beautiful. But things took a turn at the reception, where the maid of honor, Amanda Willis, was said to have immediately started drinking copious amounts of hard alcohol, beginning with an entire bottle of Fireball within the first half hour. For whatever
No
reason,
easy feat.
No.
It is terrible tasting.
Burned.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, this led to Willis walking around the reception asking for people's car keys, which they, of course, refused to give her. So she just went over to the best man and stole his keys out of his pocket.
It's a prank.
She got in his car, started backing out, and almost ran over the best man who had chased her, with him forced to grab onto the car for safety, being dragged behind it as she tried to drive away.
Eventually, guests managed to wrestle her out of the car, so she, of course, ran back inside the reception and found a bottle of Captain Morgan rum. And she guzzled as much as she could before deciding to start punching random guests in the face. Then she started claiming she was having an asthma attack, probably just the heartburn left over from the fireball.
Probably.
And then she was shaking as if she was having a seizure. So she was taken to the hospital by EMTs, where she assaulted 2 medics and exposed herself to police officers who were present. So, round up, final tally. The final tally of charges: larceny, battery, grand theft of a motor vehicle, violation of probation, because, this isn't Amanda Willis's first rodeo. The 35-year-old has apparently been arrested 9 separate times in Charlotte County alone. The bride, who says Willis was her best friend, keyword, says that they're now no longer friends. But come on now, this can't be a complete surprise. How did this...
Yeah.
What did
Your
she
best
think?
friend's been arrested 9 times?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure she'll be good on my
I'm sure
wedding
Amanda
night.
was like, hey, I'm gonna come to the wedding. Let me plan everything.
Yeah.
There's gonna be Fireball and Captain Morgan as far as the eye can see.
I think we should order more Fireball.
Yeah. We
Are
should
you sure this isn't a Fireball?
Well, I'm gonna do one myself, so maybe we should order more. Anyways, we look forward to seeing Amanda in future episodes and becoming just another one in the long list of great additions to this show on a weekly basis.
Thank you for your
right up there
contribution.
with Malachi Love Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can be put in that the Twitter house. We should just start, instead of just Twitter, we should start putting all the
Yeah. The Bad People House.
the weekly Weird House.
Yeah. Weird House.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we get into the second half of this show, though, hey, what time is it? Well, why pull your phone out of your pocket every time you need to know how late you are for your obligations when you can wear the time of day right on your wrists? I know, it's a crazy new idea, but Movement Watches is this week's sponsor, and they make classy watches that don't cost nearly as much as that overpriced crap down at the department store.
I've wanted one ever since we went on Funhouse and they had them. They were great.
Yeah.
Anyways, Movement Watches, they start at just $95, and that's thanks to the fact that they're sold directly to you online, cutting out all the greedy middlemen and retail markups. Go check out their huge selection of classic and minimalist designs at mvmtwatches.com/MWW. And you'll also get 15% off your order with free shipping and free returns if you change your mind. Step up your watch game. You're going to be getting so many damn compliments on your new watch. I can't wait for the next wedding so I can wear my nice little watch right here. You're going to be getting a lot of compliments. It's going to be great. Again, it's mvmtwatches.com/MWW. You're going to get 15% off if you go to that link. Join the movement.
Yeah, TikTok, buddy.
Retro is cool again. Member berries.
Anyway, on to this week's weirdest and best other news headlines around the internet and whatnot, starting with this Republican politician allegedly told a woman, "I no longer have to be PC," before grabbing her crotch.
So this didn't happen in America, though, did it?
Oh, it did.
It did.
The
okay.
article is from an Australian outlet.
Ah, okay.
It happened. It was at the guy was a politician, but at the city council level
Yeah.
in Connecticut. He's this 71-year-old man. He got into an argument with one of his colleagues or whatever. She was like, "Yeah, man, things are really changing now." And he's like, "You're damn right, they're changing. I don't have to be PC anymore." And then they got into an argument. He grabbed her crotch to prove a point or something.
Yeah, they can do whatever he wants.
And apparently there's actual surveillance video of it. It's an open and shut case.
Yeah. But it should be fine because...
Yeah, right.
Donald Trump said it was
The
cool,
law
yeah.
now says you can
Yeah.
grab women's crotches.
Well, then there you go. Open and
Yeah.
shut case. I guess
Yeah.
we're done here. Moving on. Lawmaker seeks to bring road beers back to Montana. This is fine. You're in Montana. There's no one around. No matter where you are in
Straight
Montana.
line for 100 miles.
No matter where you are, you're there in Montana, and there's no one around you. They should, what's the limit? 0.07 or something? One beer's not going to do that. Let them have it.
Well, okay, so technically the drivers would still not be allowed to drink.
Ah!
This is for the passengers.
Oh, that's fine.
If you're riding,
Yeah.
not driving, you can sit in the car and drink, which is great. It's for those long Montana drives where you're
Yeah.
just in the middle of fucking nowhere doing
Boring.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people are like, "Well, don't you think this is gonna encourage people who are driving to be like, hey, give me one of those? And the guy who's writing the bill, he's like, well, that's like saying a designated driver going to a bar is gonna feel encouraged to drink.
Yeah.
Checkmate.
Mm-hmm. Would you jump off a bridge if all your friends did it? Maybe. No, that's great though, and like it's the same rule that is. I mean, this is a legal rule in California where if you're driving to Vegas with your friends, everyone in the car can drink.
It's not a real.
The whole way there, yeah, no, the whole way to Vegas. If you're in a car driving to Vegas,
no, I mean,
everyone can drink in the car.
Does it? But I don't
No,
think
I'm pretty sure it's the rule.
No, I mean it's a rule.
I'm pretty sure the last time I did that, I asked the guy driving. I was like, "Is it cool if we drink in the car?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's fine."
Yeah. Well, it is.
That's technically
it's
law, right?
Fine. And I've definitely done this, but I would have to check.
Was it weird
the
that
laws.
he made me put my tall boy inside of a large McDonald's cup and then drink it through the straw so that it didn't look like I was drinking beer?
Yeah, it does raise some red flags in retrospect.
You know it's technically illegal to bring beer over the California-Nevada border?
Yeah.
Nah, I
Not
was just joking.
stopping anyone.
I was just joking. That's not true. Anyways, don't do that, or do, as long as you're not driving. But if you're driving, just have one. Or don't. You shouldn't drink.
Just follow the laws that you agree with.
You should read the laws before you do anything.
Just look at the laws,
Yeah.
decide which ones you like and which ones you don't. And,
Listen,
make
don't drink
your
and
own
drive.
laws.
Uber exists. Yeah.
Not to Vegas.
You can take an Uber to Vegas. It'd be really expensive.
Yeah, I think
Just
they have like
fly
a
there. It's very
helicopter.
cheap.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, next headline. Explorers find disease-cursed city of the monkey god and nearly lose their faces to flesh-eating parasite.
So this is like an actual Indiana Jones kind of story?
Kind of. It's
Or
a
like
little
King
more
Tut,
boring.
or-
Like the headline makes it sound like they opened up the tomb and then their faces started melting. But no, they found this old temple that's been lost, or tomb or whatever, that's been lost for 500 years, and then they all got bit by flies. And then when they came home, the wounds just kept growing, and they went to the doctor and got it taken care of. But the doctor was like, "Oh, it's a good time you came here because the next thing that would have happened would be your like nose and your lips rotting off."
But that's the thing, though, is if this happened back in like the 1910s,
Oh, yeah,
they'd been like, "Oh, it's a curse."
Yeah,
it's a curse.
And that's why like the legends around that have always been like, "Oh yeah, like no one ever comes back. It's cursed." They were also apparently like
It was actually because the Egyptians used asbestos in the tombs. It got in their lungs.
yeah.
Done.
Yeah. They ran into a bunch of pit vipers in the. This was in like Honduras. They said like just getting there was a pain in the ass. There was fucking
Oh, I'm sure it was.
venomous snakes all over the place, and there's like these snakes.
Oh, getting to the secret temple is a real pain in the ass.
Yeah. They brought back a bunch of loot, but then everyone involved was like, I don't really want to go back. It was kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's the same thing that I said when I went to Tijuana.
Yeah.
Never go back.
Yeah.
I'll never go back.
Why would you? It's a shithole.
Woman caught trying to smuggle boyfriend out of jail in a suitcase.
Damn it.
Thwarted by probably the dozens of cameras that are in any situation.
No,
were they
actually-
doing the consummation room or whatever?
I don't know. This is in Venezuela. It seems like
Oh.
the whole thing was pretty lax because
Yeah.
she was there doing a visit. And
Conjugal
then
visit.
She like showed up to do the visit with a suitcase, and then
These are my sex toys.
Yeah, and then she left with the suitcase, but she was like dragging it because it had a 180-pound man inside of it, and they
Didn't
were
think it
like,
through.
"What's in the suitcase?" She's like, "Nothing."
Really heavy dildos.
Yeah. So
You want to see?
now she's in jail too, but not the same jail.
Oh, that'd be cute.
Yeah. Austria village churches hire bouncers to block tourists.
What? Because they're just like, oh, what a pretty church. It's so old.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful, picturesque town. Apparently, the Chinese have been coming in with their cameras
And their selfie sticks.
They'll show up at
And their
like,
flags that they're always waving to locate the group.
well, that's very useful. But
It is a useful thing.
They'll show up at like actual because the church actually still functions as a church.
Yeah.
So they'll show up at actual mass and like funerals and weddings and just like get right up to it like it's some sort of like show.
Yeah. Taking selfies at a funeral.
Yeah. So now they're finally they have bouncers being like, no, you can't come in. There's actually something happening right now.
And do they listen?
I don't know. We'll see. But this town actually, this town is so popular with Chinese tourists that they built a like replica of it in China.
Oh.
They love it. They
Yeah.
love the West.
I
They
thought
can,
you were
they
gonna
can go
say-
to that one and take pictures of it all they
I thought
want.
you were going to say that the town was like, wow, Chinese people love us so much, we should build a casino.
I mean, it's Austria. I think gambling's legal there.
That's probably fine.
Yeah.
Rob Schneider advises John Lewis on what Martin Luther King Jr. would do. Not really the best person to be giving out advice.
Pretty tone deaf, actually.
Yeah.
His response to the whole John Lewis thing is John Lewis was like, I don't think President Trump is a legitimate president.
Yeah.
You know, controversial. He knew what he was saying. But then Rob Schneider chimes in on Twitter. He's like, John Lewis, you're a very honorable man, but this kind of vitriol was not how Martin Luther King Jr. won civil rights.
Okay.
And
that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
There was a great thing that came out of this.
Have you heard of Martin Luther King Jr.?
There was a great thing that came out of this where someone like bashed Rob Schneider a couple of years ago, and like he was like, well, who are you to judge my films? You haven't even won any writing awards. I did a full search and you didn't win. And then Roger Ebert was like, wrote back and was like, excuse me, sir, I did a very quick, very cursory search and found that here's some awards that this guy won. Also, I'm a Pulitzer Prize winner and your movies are garbage.
Damn, Ebert was a savage.
Isn't Rob Schneider's daughter famous too? But for something completely different?
What?
I think they could be true.
I don't know.
Could be true, might be fake news.
Anyway, yeah, John Lewis knows about Martin Luther King because he went.
Yeah, the whole thing was ridiculous.
He went to jail with him multiple times.
Aside from the Rob Schneider thing, the whole everything surrounding that, including the president's tweets.
This is not what Martin Luther King would have wanted. It's like the only person here who has any semblance of what Martin Luther King would want would probably be the guy that marched with Martin Luther King.
Yeah. He's all talk, no action. Mississippi City faces backlash after calling Martin Luther King Day Great Americans Day. Because how could you take that not in a wrong way?
Well, you know why it's Great Americans Day? Because in a couple of states in the South, like Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Martin Luther King shares the day with other noted American hero Robert E. Lee. So they get the same day.
Woo! Yeah.
And,
also, it was a big hassle having those Freedom Riders come through their states way back then. Oh, here we go again.
Clogging up the road.
Get out the rocks.
I'm going to be late for work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to be late for work because I have to turn my truck around and yell racial epithets at these people.
Yeah. Look what you made me do. Co-owner of Charleston's only cat cafe discovers she's allergic to cats.
At what point?
She just thought, I don't know. It sounds like she was in denial for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah, I mean, I always had cats, but I always had severe sinus problems all the time.
Yeah.
I just never really put two and two together.
I just thought it was the mold.
Yeah. So I started a cat cafe that's filled with 50 cats. And a doctor finally tested me. Turns out I'm allergic to cats, dogs, dust.
Well, what does she do now?
She still runs a cat cafe. I think she just takes Benadryl or something. I don't know.
Every day. She's just constantly tired.
I'm not going to let my allergies get in the way of saving these
This
cats.
is my passion. Anyways, Don's John's porta potties get their name taped over them at the site of Donald Trump's inauguration. Don's John's.
Yeah.
You would think he'd appreciate it. He'd probably buy out the company.
I love it. Don's John's.
Yeah.
But yeah, the same company was the porta potty company for the last 2 inaugurations.
Yeah.
But this time they got their contract renewed, and then someone, they don't know who, it wasn't them, someone working for the new administration went to the hundreds of things with a piece of blue tape just covering up the name of the company.
Wow.
Because we wouldn't want Donald Trump's good name to be
pissed all over.
Yeah. In these porta potties.
Bernie Madoff is cornering the prison market on Swiss Miss hot chocolate. It is delicious.
He's a businessman.
Yeah.
Give him a.
You think it's gonna stop him being in jail? Martha Stewart went there and cooked for everyone.
Yeah. So he goes to the commissary.
Yeah.
He buys all the hot chocolate, so there's none left, and then he sells it out on the yard.
Yeah.
At a 10% markup.
There you go.
Genius.
It's gotta just be something that keeps him busy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see what I can do to fix the economy here in prison.
Well, for himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, of course. That's what he's there for.
He's apparently well respected and beloved amongst the prison staff because a lot of them are thieves, and he's like, well, I stole $65 billion.
What did you do?
Oh my God.
Yeah. This guy.
My man.
Yeah.
And he gives people stock advice.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good for him.
Kansas man accidentally shot at meat plant. Buffalo blamed. Were they trying to shoot the buffalo and hit him instead?
It doesn't seem like a real top of the line meat plant because they're trying to shoot the buffalo to turn it into meat. But it was one guy on a rickety ladder with a rifle aiming down into the pen.
It was a guy he's hold that buffalo still, and he's sitting right behind it or something.
Well, he was on the ladder aiming at the buffalo, and then the buffalo charged the wall and made the ladder all wobbly, and then he fired off a round, and his friend who was helping with the operation got shot. So the buffalo got one last lick in before they turned him into hamburgers.
Yeah.
Good for him.
The guy that got shot, he didn't die though.
No, he's fine.
Did they
he got shot.
Did they give him the hamburger patties made from the buffalo that he accidentally got him shot?
I think that would have been fair, but I with this ground beef shit, I mean, you're getting like 2,000 different cows in each bite.
They're all delicious.
Yeah, they are. And finally, Australians sending unhelpful donations like high heels, handbags, and chainsaws to disaster zones.
Chainsaws could be useful if you have to like cut down like trees and stuff that are like falling all over your property.
I see that one.
Or like if it's an earthquake and the house falls down or whatever. Like, but yeah, high heels not gonna be a good thing.
Yeah.
Handbags, you can at least store stuff in them.
Well, apparently anytime like a typhoon or a hurricane happens in like the Philippines or anywhere.
They're just getting rid of their junk. Like
Yeah, it's like their goodwill pile. Like, oh, it's put in the goodwill pile. Okay, well, it's the hurricane pile. So they send this stuff over. It costs like billions of dollars to ship it all. Ship it all, and then it gets there, and then the aid workers who are. They have to
sort through it. So
yeah, they have to sort through it. So they're not spending time actually like helping the people. They have to sort through it and be like, nope.
Meanwhile, all these Australians are like feeling so great about themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they the article recommends they're like, yeah, if you really want to help, just send money.
Yeah. There you go.
But then they'll spend it on drugs.
And then it's not a tax write-off.
With money?
No, because if you're donating all of your stuff, that's a tax write-off.
You can write off tax money.
What?
If you donate money,
you're right.
you
You're
can
right.
write-
But then they have
Why would that be the case?
But then they have all this clutter around their place.
Yeah, give that to locally to the Goodwill or whatever.
I don't give it to the Goodwill. They just sell it anyway.
Yeah. And they take the profits that they make and they I don't know.
Do what I do. Go by Skid Row and just.
Here's your free shit, bums. A chainsaw. What am I supposed to do with this? What the fuck?
All right, that's all the time we have for Weekly Weird this week. We offended everyone in one episode, so that's cool. New record. Hopefully you aren't as offended, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.